Aloha. This is the data sets that we were working on this morning about how to do C chart, statistical process control. We're doing the count first for defects. Okay, we've learned this in class already, but it's just a review. We're gonna put day to the columns and number of defects to the rows. And it should generate this line graph here. So if you're looking at day 1, you actually have detected 10 defects on your data collection. Day 2, 13. Day 3 is 7. Day 4 is 24. All of those stuff. So now that you have this number of defects graphed, we're gonna go to analytics and drop down the average line under the table, under table here as a reference line, sum number of defects, and it should generate this line, the graph. But we're gonna edit this, and instead of saying label with the computation, we're gonna custom that, and then we're gonna say, hey, this is actually my C bar. And we're gonna put the value by clicking the drop down arrow there and then choose value. Enter. Or you close it. Now it shows, okay, this is my C bar. That means my average of all of the numbers of defects in the 10 days that we collected data. Now after this, we're gonna add a parameter by going to data. From analytics, we're going back to data. Then we're gonna create a parameter. And this is, we'll set the number of standard deviation. And we change this to a integer, and it will be a range from a minimum of 1, a maximum of 3 standard deviation. And it should only increase by 1 when we try to change the values with the parameters. And then your parameter will show here, and then you drop down again and then show parameter. So it should show on your right-hand side. And then you can slide the numbers, change it. You can put 1, 2, and 3 standard deviation. Okay. Now that we have that, we can start doing the calculations for upper control limit by clicking this arrow right here under data and then create calculated fields. Now we're gonna name this ULC. UCL, upper control limit. And the formula goes as getting the average of sum of the number of defects. This is our C bar. Then we add the standard deviation, Windows standard deviation of the sum of number of defects. There you go. And then we gotta multiply it based on the number of deviation, which is our parameter. Click, drag and drop. There you go. And then okay. And then to make it more efficient, we're just gonna duplicate this and then edit this calculated field. So instead of plus, we're gonna say minus for that, and then edit this. Make sure it will say lower control limit. And then okay. And then you select the lower control limit and your upper control limit, drag it to details. Now that we have the details there, and then we're gonna start going to analytics back and then reference band, which is we're gonna put it under a table again, sum of number of defects. But the default usually goes to sum of number of defects, but we're gonna change that to, for the minimum, will be the lower control limit, and we're gonna change the label to lower control limit, and we're gonna put that label, the value, whatever the value computed in there. And then same thing with the maximum, we're gonna put the upper control limit here. And then instead of computation, we're gonna custom it. Then we're gonna put upper control limit equals to the value. There you go. And it should show the numbers in here. So with one standard deviation, you have this and this. But let me see. Let's change this. Let's format this. I will, yeah, format. And then we're going to change it to this one. This kind of line. And then so that it will show me this is different from the C bar, which is the average. That's it. And then maybe our fill will be a little bit, the opacity will be less. There you go. So this is your statistical process control done in Tableau. But I wanna show, because right now it's like there's no indication that how we identify this. It's kind of like hard. The point, it's not giving us an emphasis, especially if like this, and you won't be able to identify if right away by looking at it. The purpose of visualization is to actually see it right away. How many out of control out of the 10 days, how many days that there are out of control, number of defects. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna create another calculated fields here that will identify all of out of control. And then we're gonna create a if calculated field here. We're gonna say if, let's start with if the sum of number of defects is greater than the upper control limit, or the sum number of defects is less than the lower control limit, then it's only the sum of. Okay, make sure you put a space once. Okay, it's loading. Did I choose then? Okay, hold on. Yeah, then space number of defects, sum of number of defects. If not, then you end. Then, okay. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this out of control under the rows. There you go. It's out of control. Did I do it right? Hold on. Edit. Oh, yeah. So that this is supposedly a less than the lower control limit. Then okay. Then it should, once you drop, you click the out of control and drag, click and drag and drop, drag and drop to under the rows. It should show something like this. But we're gonna go back to out of control, which is this one. But we're gonna change this to, instead of automatic, we're gonna change it to circle. There you go. It's a circle. And then this number of sum of defects is just gonna be line, because that's what we are. If it's under, if it's just not out of control, then it will stay as a line. But if it's out of control, it will actually show as a dot, as a circle. Now you can click here at out of control, right click, and then you put dual axis. And then right click here, and then you synchronize axis. And now by looking at this, you'll be able to see, oh, there's 3 out of control number of defects that we collected during the 10 days of doing some quality control. Okay, so this is pretty much how you do it. If it's the number of standard deviation is 2, then there's no out of control, and 3. Okay, well, hopefully this video will help you out do your case study over the weekend over Tableau. And I'm gonna create a separate video for P chart, which is proportion, the X double bar chart, and the R bar chart. Okay, for now, I'll see you in a bit.